Hello and welcome to another edition of Voices and Views Global Lens, a space where voices share perspectives on issues shaping our world. On today's discussion, the episode will center on a sensitive national matter: security, the rule of law, and individual rights in Nigeria. Months ago, reports emerged of an attempted coup involving some military personnel. In the course of an ongoing investigation, Sheikh Sani Khalifa Zaria was reportedly detained by authorities. This development raises important legal questions. On what ground can individuals be detained in matters of national security? What does the law say about the process? And how do we balance the protection of the states with the fundamental human right of citizens? To help us unpack the issue, I am joined in the studio by a legal practitioner, human rights activist, and also an Amnesty International fellow, Barrister Awal Bashir, who will guide us through the legal framework. Barrister, you're welcome to Voices and Views Global Lens.
I'm most obliged.
Thank you. Barrister, from a legal standpoint, what justifies the detention of a person during a national security investigation? I mean, what laws guide cases related to coup allegations or traits of the states?
When what the law says is that when someone is suspected to have committed a crime that attracts death sentence, and he is not expected to be released ordinarily on bail, straightjackedly, without considering some circumstances. First of all, the DSS has power under Section 3, Sub 2 of National Security Agency Act 2004 to arrest and investigate on anything that has to do with internal security, that has to do with Nigerian security. So Sheikh Khalifa Zaria is suspected to have received, in the course of investigation, they suspect him of receiving the sum of 2 million naira from one of the military personnel that are involved directly in the attempted coup. And therefore, the law allows them to investigate, to invite you to investigate, and even prosecute you before a court of law.
Thank you very much, Barrister. I mean, now, what procedures must authorities follow when detaining someone under suspicion of involvement in such serious matters? I mean, is there a legal limit to how long can someone be held without being formally charged to court?
Of course, there is that law. If we look into if we look at the Section 35, Sub 4 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what that section say, and I paraphrase, is that when someone is arrested by police officer or any other agency, that person is expected to be taken to court within 24 hours. If there is a court within the radius of 40 kilometers, where there is no court within the radius of 40 kilometers, the suspect is expected to be taken to court within 48 hours. Failure to do that will result in violating the fundamental rights of that particular suspect. But they can continue to detain that particular individual suspect if they obtain an order of court. But failure to do that, that individual can rush to High Court in order to enforce his fundamental rights, per se under Section 46 of the 1999 Constitution.
Now, what right does Sheikh Sani Khalifa Zaria or anyone in similar circumstance have under the Nigerian law? I mean, at what point does detention become a violation of a fundamental human right?
Okay, the right of a suspect under detention, as it stands now, he is a suspect, not a defendant, because he's not yet brought before a court of law. He has the following right. The first right he has is to be informed of the offense he's been suspected to have committed. They should promptly inform him. Then after informing him they should not detain him more than 48 hours without an order of court. They're supposed to take him to court within the reasonable time. Reasonable time is 48 hours, except with the order of court. And he is not expected to be tortured or harassed. And he should not be prevented from seeing his relative, like his relative should not be prevented from seeing him or from being seen by his legal practitioner. Section 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and 34, 35 are instructive to this effect.
Then what if he was tortured and harassed?
If he is tortured in the process and harassed, then it's a direct violation of the provision of Section 34 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which says, and I paraphrase, a suspect or no one, on no account, someone should be tortured or should be maltreated just for the on just the basis on the basis that he is being suspected of committing a crime, because it's only a court of law that can decide you to be a criminal or not a criminal, guilty or innocent. Section 6 is instructive. You are not expected, you as an as a DSS officer or police officer or military personnel or any security, any law enforcement agency, the law prohibits you. Section 34 of the Constitution in particular prohibits you from torturing that person, maltreating him just because you suspect him of committing a particular crime. Doing that will, give rise to cause of action in which that particular person can go to court, high court or federal high court, in order to enforce that right. Section 46 of the Constitution is instructive to this effect.
So, Barrister, let's focus on evidence and proof, but that will be after we take a short break. Hello, viewers, stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Hello and welcome to Voices and Views Global Lens, powered by Morganable Media. Tune into our YouTube channel for more of our update. Barrister, thank you and welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's focus on evidence and burden of proof. I mean, how careful must authorities be to avoid wrongful implication in cases like this? I mean, what kind of evidence is required before linking a civilian to a military plot, because it's kind of complicated. Many people are considering it a bit complicated.
So when it comes to crime is a crime. And what is being suspected to have committed is a crime. There are two elements. If you want to establish a particular offense before a court of law, there are two elements, basic elements that you need to establish. The first one is the actus reus. Actus reus is an external manifestation of human conduct resulting in a forbidden act. Then mens rea, your state of mind at the time when you were committing the crime. In this instance, that has to do with Sheikh Khalifa Zaria, it's obvious that 2 million naira has been transferred to his account. And he prayed that may them succeed in what they put forward. But if you look at the statement or the situation, you realize that to prove his mental element, the state of his mind, to prove that he has knowledge or intention of contributing to the coup intended or attempted to be committed by those military personnel would be very, very difficult. Because what his relatives are currently saying is that he has no knowledge, he's not aware of their intention, of what they wanted to do. And therefore, what he only received, was 2 million naira and nothing more. And therefore, if they say that is an actus reus, then we ask them, is praying for bad thing to happen to someone a crime in Nigeria? Because ordinarily, you cannot You cannot charge someone with an offense that is not written, that is not under a written law, and the punishment is provided thereon. There is no law in Nigeria per se. Let me be clear. There is no law in Nigeria who says if you pray for an evil thing to happen to someone, you commit an offense. There is nothing like that. So ordinarily, they don't even supposed to arrest him ordinarily. But if their basis is that they suspect him to have contributed, not just through his prayer, without even establishing his intention, then they can arrest him and investigate. But if it's just on the basis of him praying for them to succeed on what they put forward, honestly, they don't have basis of detaining him. And of course, his lawyer and his relative can go to court and challenge this, because there is no even law prohibiting, individual from praying, from, uttering able prayer against others. So I don't think it's justifiable for him to be detained at this juncture.
Now, Barrister, balancing security and aspect of freedom, how do we strike a balance between protecting national security and preserving individual freedoms? I mean, can security concern override constitutional right?
We can balance national security and also the right of citizens by following the due process. The law are being made. Many laws are made, and more law are being continued to be made. And therefore, the only way to preserve national security is by following what the law provides. The law is clear. If you suspect me of committing an offense, you can arrest me. You can investigate. You have this power. You can also prosecute me before a court of law and prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. And therefore, Constitution is clear. Chapter 4 is clear. Particularly Section 35 and 36, 34 of the Constitution is clear. If you suspect anyone of committing a crime, you arrest him, you inform him. You inform him of the reason why you arrest him. Tell him, I'm arresting you for this reason. After then make sure you take him to court within reasonable time. But if the case has to do with capital offense, as in case of this Sheikh Sani Khalifa Zaria is being suspected of contributing or involving in something that has to do with treason, which attract death sentence, which is a capital offense. If we consider section 410 and 411 of Penal Court Law of 1960, is actually a capital offense, and even as such, his own part could only be considered as an abetment, helping, assisting in the process, but his own is not, does not attract death sentence. It's life imprisonment. And therefore, to balance national security and the right of citizens, that can only be done by following the due process, what the law provides. And we have to be, treating people equal before a court of law and before our offices. He is not yet taken to court, and therefore they should treat everyone with justice, and they're supposed to abide by the rule and regulation, what the provision of the Constitution provide. And failure to do that, as I said, and I keep on replicating it, his relatives, his lawyers can go to court and challenge this, and there is good ground to challenge this. It's crystal clear that there is fishy things. There is fishy things happening.
Well, thank you, Barrister. Then, Barrister, how dangerous is public trial before court judgment?
It's very, very dangerous, because it tampers with the presumption of innocence. If you continue to spread things on social media while the thing is already before a court of law, then you are tampering with the presumption of innocence. It's like, I did not commit this. There are no evidence established yet on the offense, but you still continue, to disseminate on the information on social media or any other, platform. while the case is before a court of law is prohibited. It's not allowed because it's like you're telling the world that I've committed the crime. It's like you're telling the world that I've committed a crime. You're supposed to wait for the court of law to determine everything. But in this instance, in this situation of the case of Sani Khalifa Zaria, honestly, it's not yet before the court of law. So commenting of it, we have to look at the right to freedom of expression, which should be within reason, within the law. Should not touch anybody's right. Should not touch the issue of national security and everything. Section 39 and Section 45 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is crystal clear. And Section 161 to 162 of Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 is the basis, and also some orders of court is the basis upon which the DSS are still detaining Sheikh Khalifa Zaria.
Thank you, Barrister. To sum it up in seconds, what role should the media play in reporting such sensitive cases without prejudicing the outcome?
The media should play the following roles. They should not go into the merit of the case when reporting things. They should not go into the merit of the case. When I say merit of the case, into determining the matter, to say this person is right and this person is wrong. They should only report what is happening, that so thing happened in court, and therefore the lawyer does this and does that, and the court says this. And they should not go to the extent of making determination of the case, to be, tilting towards one side, to be saying that this person is right or this person is wrong. And media should also understand that what they are doing, there should be honesty. They should be honest in what they do, and they should be very, very mindful of the, national security. If they understand that what they're going to say will touch the national security, then definitely it's against Section 39. Because whatever the media is doing is under the umbrella, under the import of Section 39 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Once it goes to the extent of touching the national security, then they have to halt it. They have to stop, and they have to be very, very mindful of the national security and what the perception of people would be. Because doing things to trigger the mind of the people to be against government will result to other offense.
That has been Barrister Awal Bashir, a human rights activist and fellow of the Amnesty International, who helped us with insightful overview of what is happening between Sheikh Khalifa Sani Zaria over and coup allegation. Barrister, thank you for coming. That has been Voices and Views Global Lens, a space where voices share perspectives. See you next week with another inspiring edition of the show. Run to our YouTube channel and kindly subscribe or follow us on our social media handles at Moganable. Thank you for joining. I am Al Hassan Hassan.